this year, as we've talked about, we're going to be slicing the content into tracks. So from reach, impact, experience, innovation, across the board. So we've got content that will be more thematic towards those tracks, which makes the programme slightly easier to navigate. In terms of the themes that we can expect, I think there are some ones that stand out this year that we've received quite a few submissions around. One is around the role of brands and creativity in quite an increasingly politicised and polarised world is a big one. Voice is a standout theme this year that we didn't see so much on last year. I think it's sort of coming of age a little bit more. Also new tech like blockchain we'll see featured at Cannes this year, but we're always looking for the most standout creative submissions. So what we're looking for is really original, thought-provoking new ideas to put on the main stage. So we always stay true to that.
And Apple is participating for the first time. Tell us. Yes.
So we've got Angela Ahrendts and Myhren. So Angela looks after all the retail stores for Apple, and of course Tor is the brand, vice president of brand. So they'll be on stage to talk about how they're reinventing retail, and we're really excited about that because it's the first time they've come to Cannes to talk specifically about Apple and the work they've done. We've had Apple there before, but Jony Ive a few years ago, but this is much more of a business conversation that they'll be bringing.
That's great. And what are your hopes as you construct the programming? What are your what's your goal?
Our goal is to continue to be future facing as a festival, and to programme provocative content that sets the agenda. So this year we've been more proactive, I guess, in looking out for and reaching out to speakers who we want. We're curating some of our own content this year. So this year we'll be facilitating a debate around who's your next boss. So the future of the industry, really, consultancies versus agencies, which we're moderating. So Phil Thomas, our CEO, is moderating. We're also working with The Economist to programme a debate on, are the tech platforms killing creativity? So I feel like these two issues are really fundamental to Cannes, and what we want to do is address them head on in a really provocative way. So we're just looking to continue to set the agenda.
And Charlotte, tell us about how you organize the tracks to match up with the awards, which is kind of new. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, so the tracks are a way of helping people decipher the festival. You will find that there are some tracks, of course, like craft being one that might appeal more to your core creatives, whereas impact more about creative effectiveness, so might appeal to a slightly different person. So I guess what we're looking to do is help people navigate the festival better, and ensure that we create a really balanced programme. So for us, we're excited about it because it means there's a bit more rigour involved. When we're looking at content submissions, we're able to really work out what the crux of, the message is, what the crux of the conversation they want to bring to Cannes is, and make sure that we're giving it the right amount of weighting on the programme. So it makes for a more balanced programme, and a more valuable programme, really.
So Charlotte, I wanted to ask you about the what creativity means now. I know that's a very big question, but there's been a lot of talk about the power of data, the power of media, the power of the technology platforms. What's the relevancy of creativity, and particularly the work that's being done by the creative agencies and the media companies as well? And give us your thoughts about sort of the state of creativity and why it matters now.
Why it matters. So that's a really good question. I mean, I think it's very hard to define creativity, and we started to try and look at it in more detail this year as people come to us and say, well, what are you looking for? I think for us it's about any new, original thinking that can be usefully applied in business. So Cannes is all about the application of big ideas and new thinking. So that's very deliberately broad. I think it has to be broad because there are so many new players on the scene. There are so many, it's not just defined by creative agencies, there are so many new entrants in this field that we can't restrict it. But I think it's always about the power of the big idea, but how that can be usefully applied and how that can lead to really strong, tangible results.
What are your hopes in terms of a content producer that the experiences for the delegates?
So what we want is for delegates to leave Cannes feeling really inspired, really excited about what they do, really buzzed up about the new opportunities that they have in front of them, and just armed full of new ideas. I mean, I think that's the best thing that anyone can take from Cannes, is whether that's just one nugget from someone's presentation, just one sentence, or whether they've been to a workshop and taken some very practical ideas back. That's what we're hoping for, is just that people leave very inspired and continue to be inspired year on year.